Hello and welcome to Rev Sports. I'm Gargi Raut, and joining me today is Debashi Sen, Bharat Ramraj, and Atreo from Pune. Well, New Zealand is leading by 301 runs and are 5 wickets down. But can India make a comeback in this match? Atreo, let's start with you. Day three is called the moving day. Whose favor is it moving into right now?
Is there a doubt? It's going to be very, very difficult for India to come back to the game now because after the first inning collapse, which gave New Zealand a very sizable lead of 103 runs, India are looking down the barrel at the moment. They will chase something around 350 at least. New Zealand ahead by 301 runs, 5 wickets in hand. So they're expected to stretch this lead to at least 350. And chasing 350 in the fourth innings on this kind of a pitch is going to be very, very difficult. There is no doubt in my mind, Gargi.
Yeah, Devashish, like Atreo said, it's going to be very difficult. 301 lead already, and they're not going to let go of the batting that easily. But what is the way forward for India right now?
Yeah, the batters need to score runs. They need to get their confidence back because an important Australia series is coming. So in even if they lose this test match and goes on to lose the series after 12 years, but then that means, these are the same batters who have scored tons of runs. But then obviously, in few of the short selections, I would love to see some great applications, especially from youngsters like Shubman and Yashasvi. They played well in the first innings, but then they could not make it count. So obviously they need some inspiration from none other than their captain Rohit Sharma, who was again done in by a Team Saudi delivery. So Rohit and Virat, remember, they will have to play a key role in that Border Gavaskar Trophy. So they need to have the runs behind before they actually board the flight to Australia. So I think whatever, even if the conditions are challenging, yes, India might not go on to win this test match or rather save this test match, but uh, I think inspirational batting performance from the Indian batters will give them a lot of confidence for the third test and going into the Border Gavaskar Trophy.
Uh, and then when you look at stats, Bharat, only once in Test history has a team successfully chased down a total of 300 plus in India, and that was in 2008 when India beat England in Chennai. So India will have to pull out something similar and something really big right now. But do you think that's possible? Can India, with the way that they've been batting for the past few Test matches, can they do it?
Oh, once in a while, a miracle happens, but a miracle won't happen all the time. So, once it happened 16 years ago, obviously India had a great batting lineup those days, but against spin, I don't think it will happen. But yeah, as I noted, once in a while miracles do happen, so you never know. But it also has to be considered that we are in a DRS era. In this DRS era, it has become tougher to chase down a target like that in the fourth innings. Umpires give a lot more LBWs because they see on DRS that a lot of times they might have thought it's not going to hit the stumps. The DRS shows it will go and hit the stumps. So umpires are bolder now. They give a lot more LBWs. And the second innings, again, Mitchell Sander will bowl stump to stump line, look for a lot of LBWs. It's going to be very difficult for India to win from here. But you never know. Cricket is a funny game, as we know. So hopefully, India will do something miraculous.
When it comes to the batting, Athro, because we've seen batting innings end really early for India in the last couple of Test matches. What's the problem here? I mean, we saw some rash shots, but that has to stem from something. Is it that Indian batters are batting, trying to bat too aggressively, or are not patient enough? What's going on?
It's a combination of a few factors. Some of which you mentioned. I think it's a well. In one word, if you have to describe what it is, I would say it's application error. And how to elaborate? If we elaborate on that, we will find several factors like lack of patience is one reason, and the willingness to take the game to the opposition. They are always. This team has said that They want to play aggressive cricket. They want to take a high risk, high reward kind of an approach. So when you do that, you definitely leave the door open for some damage, which has happened with India. And as we saw that in the first innings over here, that there were at least three shots which were avoidable. I mean, Virat Kohli, Sarfaraz Khan, and Rishabh Pant. Those were avoidable shots. I wouldn't really read too much into the dismissals of Jaiswal or Gill because they were out defending the delivery. And the other three were trying to play forcing shots, and they completely couldn't really pull them off. And as we say that you mentioned the Chennai in 2009, 2008, but what kind of a lineup that was? Gautam Gambhir was part of that team actually. Gautam Gambhir actually he made some runs in the second innings. He scored a half century and put up a century partnership with Virendra Sehwag. But that team had Virendra Sehwag. And it had Sachin Tendulkar, Rahul Dravid, VVS Lakshman, Yuvraj Singh, and MS Dhoni. So that you can't compare that kind of a lineup with this one because the temperament was different. The template was different. This is, I mean, they are trying to assert themselves on the opposition all the time, and when you do that, there are some pitfalls which we have seen over here. And now, we can draw inspiration from Chennai, but it's very difficult to pull that off. That was a different kind of a surface. This is a surface where the ball is gripping and turning. So, and New Zealand have three spinners. Uh, so it's, well, uh, you can't defend. I mean, when you come out to bat, you can't defend to survive over here. They will play shots again. There will be some aggressive cricket. There will be some adventure. But how long it lasts, we have to see. That's it.
Devashish, there's a question here. Asim Hans is asking, this attitude isn't healthy that our batters need to score runs in preparation for BGT. Why aren't we giving importance to the current match or series? Are we saying that New Zealand aren't up to our standards? Well, that last part of the question is, it has been answered by New Zealand itself. But Devashish, what do you think of this?
The contrasting difference between the both sides has been the application of the batters from both sides. If you look at Devon Conway and Rachin Ravindra in the first innings and the second innings, the innings that Tom Latham played, means they just clearly had a plan in mind. Means sweeping the shots against the spinners. But then when it comes to India, they were trying to be over aggressive, and in doing so, they brought their own downfall. So I think that clearly the approach and the mindset of both the team. And we are talking about Test cricket. Means it's a the key for Test cricket is to spend time in the middle, score partnership. In fact, partnership is partnership is paramount in Test cricket. And but then we have hardly found it in this Test match. Apart from that, the brief time when Shubman Gill and Yashasvi Jaiswal were batting. But then let's hope that Indian batters pull up their socks and try and show more application. I'm sure, as Atroda said, that they will try to be positive. In nothing harm in trying to be positive and playing the loose shots and going for hitting boundaries. But then you also have to keep in mind not try to be over aggressive. Gargi.
And adding to that point, I mean, Bharat, when you look at New Zealand's batting, the way that the skipper Tom Latham has batted, it's almost like everyone else has batted around him. But this is an approach I actually wanted to see from India. Not necessarily the same approach, but the same application, let's say, where a sort of sensible batting could be seen from the Indian batters.
Yeah, see, one of the problems with some of the younger batters, Yashasvi Jaiswal, Sarfraz Khan, I'm not saying a problem, but they have been built up on playing T20 cricket, shorter forms, a lot more of shorter forms. So when they were in, so that really makes sure that they have a different kind of mindset to batting. Look at Sarfraz Khan, even when he plays in Ranji Trophy, he tries to play a shot. Even when he's on two or three, he will to look to hit a six or a boundary. So for those kind of batters, it looks like it's a bit difficult to change their mindset. Even Rishabh Pant, for the matter, not sure they can do much with the current game because That is how modern day cricket is shifting towards. If you look at some of the youngsters coming through the ranks, even in some of the other sides, look at how some of the English players play. They just don't know how to play another way because of a lot of modern day T20 cricket. Uh, but hopefully, at some point of time, someone like especially SSV Jaiswal will tinker his game a little bit and try to play in different gears, because he definitely has the technique against spin bowling. He definitely has the game to play differently. Hopefully, it will be in the second innings that we will see SSV Jaiswal uh, changing gears, playing different gears, because he's a very good player of spin. He's a very good player of spin, and he can play with different gears.
Yeah. Another good question here by freaking awesome is he's asking, since Ganguly's era, we have been struggling against Kiwis more than any other attack, especially on pace friendly tracks in white ball cricket. But now, even in tests in spin friendly conditions. Atra?
Yes, see, I mean, when you prepare pitches like this, the difference, the gap between the teams reduces. Because, see, had India played on a normal wicket, I think the Indian team would have been, say, 70-30 favorites to win this test match. But since this is a turning wicket, I mean, it's not a, I mean, raging turner, yes, I understand, but it's a turning wicket. I mean, the wicket is assisting spin, no doubt about that. And when that happens, the you are basically compromising on your strength, on your core strength. We saw, for example, in the England series earlier this year, India won that series 4-1, and all four matches India won were on normal kind of pitches. They were not overly spin friendly, those wickets. And this one is, and when that happens, you are compromising on your own strength. What is your strength? I mean, India's batting in Indian conditions is a big strength, right? I mean, Indians are known to put up big totals. Their batters score big hundreds. Like we saw in the England series, Jaiswal scored two double centuries. Rohit Sharma scored century, Jadeja scored century, and there were a lot of runs that were scored. Over here, India has reduced the prospect of that by preparing this kind of a wicket, which possibly has given New Zealand some kind of an advantage, which has worked in their favor. Had India won the toss and batted first over here, it could have been different. But these pitches, I won't advocate this. I mean, we remember, I mean, I was here for the 2017 test against Australia, which was again a turner. India lost the match very, very badly. And the difference is, India went on to win that series 2-1. That was the first test. But if India lose here, they lose the series. So that's the price they will have to pay. And if they lose this, and I would say that by preparing this kind of a pitch, India has possibly nullified the advantage that they naturally have over New Zealand in home conditions. For example, New Zealand will not give you turning wickets in New Zealand. They will prepare green top. That will work in their favor. So by doing this, India has, and we all know that Indians have struggled, Indian batters have struggled in spin bowling for the last few years. It's not a new problem. It's been happening for some time. So knowing that, to prepare something like this uh, has backfired to an extent. I think.
Yes, and a question here for you, Debashish. How do you see Jadeja's failure to take wickets on a pitch where Santner has got seven?
Yeah, warring signs. Definitely warring signs. Means Jadeja, you would have banked on Jadeja, given his ability to turn on these wickets and give you those crucial breakthroughs. But that has not been the case in the both the test matches. Yes, both Ashwin and Jadeja, if I'm not wrong, has picked 8 wickets among themselves, between themselves, in these two test matches. So that is way too below. So when you consider their stature, but then yes, Jadeja, definitely, when you have someone like an Akshar Patel, now that he's dropped, he is also dropped from that border Gavaskar Trophy. Akshar Patel, I'm talking about. So Jadeja has to pull up his socks and try and prove what a player he is, what a match winner he has been for India. Now he plays only two formats, Test and ODI. So it will be very important for how Jadeja. The good thing about Jadeja is that, means you can always count on him. If he fails with the ball, he can give you those important runs. Even in the first inning, if you see, he tried and played some aggressive shots. So one would hope then, but then in India, particularly in this case, you would rather bank on Jadeja's bowling ability than his batting, and that has been a big letdown. So I think obviously the key now for India will be to bat well in this second innings. I won't say to try and save this test match, but at least play for your pride.
I'll just
Absolutely.
add a
And
point. I'll just add a point to that Jadeja thing. If you notice, Sandner has bowled slower through the air. Jadeja has tried to bowl quicker and even quicker through the air. I think that has been the main difference in these conditions. It's better to bowl a little bit slower through the air, allow the ball to turn. I think that is why Sandner has outbowled Ravindra Jadeja so far. Only at the back end of yesterday's play, Ravindra Jadeja tried to slow it down, but he's still not using the crease like Mitchell Sander. I think that has been the key difference. The pace at which Sander is bowled has suited these conditions a lot better than what Ravindra Jadeja has bowled.
yeah, there was a question here for you, Bharat. Final few questions. Avadh is asking, how do you analyze Harshit Rana's selection in BGT and how can he create an impact?
Yeah, see, they have selected him for obvious reasons. That hits the deck hard. In Australian conditions, they do believe that selectors at least believe that if you hit the deck hard on a short of a length, back of length, and get that little bit of bounce, it will help India to pick up wickets. So I think that is the main reason they have picked him. So if Harshit Rana follows that template, hitting the pitch hard with the older ball and keeping it in the channel outside off, then he has a chance. Obviously, he shouldn't get carried away by the bounce in Australian conditions. A lot of bowlers, young bowlers, go to Australia, look at the extra bounce and try to blast the Australian batters out. That can't happen because they're good at horizontal bat shots, pulls and cuts. So just to follow his template, hit the pitch hard and keep it in the channel. The good part for the likes of Harshit Rana and Prasidh Krishna this time is they have Morni Morkel as bowling coach and the tall hit the pitch fast bowler. So hopefully he will keep them calm and tell them what lines to hit what lines to hit, because we saw in South Africa Prasidh Krishna just didn't execute his skills. So that's a good sign for the Indian setup that they have Morni Morkel as the bowling coach when they're going to Australia, because he's someone who was one of the better hit the deck fast bowlers from another time.
Yeah, absolutely. And this question, Atra, we can end with this question. Asim once again is back and asking, our strength was supposed to be spin friendly home conditions, but now our batsmen are so inept at playing spin that we are now wanting the curators to not prepare such pitches. Is the issue the pitch or the batters?
Both actually. And to begin with the pitch, because this is not a surface where batting is very easy. And as the match goes on, it keeps getting worse. So it is to begin with, the problem is the pitch. And of course, I mean, as we have seen over the last several years, that Indians are not as comfortable at spin bowling as they used to be. Like the previous generation, they were the kings against spin bowling. Spin bowling they didn't take into account. The great Shane Warne came to India and struggled. So those things happened, but that was a generation ago. This generation is different. I mean, they are not as competent, as confident against spin bowling like their predecessors were. So I think I think this gentleman asking this question, I think it's a combination of both to say that it's a pitch and also the inability of our batters to bat on such pitches. That,
Yes, well, I think that brings our show to an end. Thank you, Devashish, Bharat, and Atreo for joining. And to everyone who's watching, stay tuned to Rev Sports. And don't forget to like, share,